Hello and welcome to the Work in Progress podcast with me, your illustrious host, Luke Warner, and my guest for this first episode is Kobe Moore.
Me.
Yep. So, Kobe, as a person who has not been to a festival myself, just to preface, this episode is about festivals that he's been to that are conventions, not festivals, but yeah, just about his experiences because I have none.
I mean, I wouldn't really call my experiences. I mean,
The stuff that he did.
They happened.
The stuff that he did
In
a place with people who have interests. We're going off topic. I had a script for this. So, as a person who hasn't been to a festival myself, I'm interested in seeing how other people's experiences in festivals and conventions went. So, could you tell me about the festivals or conventions that you've been to?
Well, the things I've been to are more convention-based. So the first being Comic-Con in High Wycombe. Boy, what a load of rubbish that was! Nearly
Quick
swore.
save.
Quick save, quick reload. We're back in the game. All right. Yeah, I went to the Comic-Con in High Wycombe. I went there for my birthday 2 years ago. There wasn't much there. It was held at a university.
Always a good place to hold something.
Yeah. It was raining. It was horrible and wet. We had to queue outside for an hour to get into a building that wasn't even a major part of the convention center. But everybody was telling us that you had to go in there and register. Nearly choked.
It sounds like a pretty miserable convention then.
Well, there wasn't much comic related. There was more like people from Dave. Like, there was EastEnder characters. That's not Dave, but there was like Only Fools and Horses. That's on Gold. So basically, none of them from Dave, but they're from similar channels like that. Nothing comic book related. Just a few random old people from really old shows. And the stuff that was like somewhat nerd related was all Doctor Who. And I can't stand Doctor Who.
Joy.
Yeah. I feel like the only interesting thing that I actually like physically saw was that they had a couple like cars on the outside. So there's like a Batmobile from the
Seems pretty cool.
From the original Michael Keaton Batman. There was Bumblebee from one of the Transformer movies. Like,
Nice.
I think there was the DeLorean. Like, those were cool. And then there was Lightning McQueen.
God.
Like, yeah. Nobody
You've got awesome, and you got rubbish.
Yeah, just some terrible Lightning McQueen car.
So, you'd probably say you'd prefer the other one that you went to. What was that one?
This one's just as thrilling, if not more. Minecon 2015. Boy, what an adventure.
I'm guessing you were young. No,
It was 4 years ago.
that doesn't... Yeah.
I was old enough to know that it was a bad idea to go, but I still did. Mainly to meet up with old friends and pals, which I did, which was nice, because
Cool.
I hadn't seen them for a long time.
I mean, that's a fair reason to go to a Minecraft convention.
Yeah, it was ridiculously expensive for what it was, though.
Oh,
Like,
gosh.
Total, like £250, I think.
That's just...
It was mainly because it was in London, so of course it's going to be overpriced, but...
Yet VidCon is £90.
I think that's still expensive.
It's still expensive, but it's like half the price.
Yeah. It had slightly more interesting people. Like, it had several YouTubers.
Oh, that's always cool.
Especially a couple dudes from Rooster Teeth, a major channel I've been watching for like 10 years.
Oh yeah, they're cool.
So that was probably like my one highlight. Like, I didn't care about the other YouTubers because they were all like Minecraft YouTubers. Like, I don't care about Dan TDM.
That's fair enough.
They were being swarmed by little, like, 10-year-olds anyway.
Yeah, as you would expect.
Whereas the people from Rooster Teeth, nobody recognised them except me. So I felt honoured.
So I guess you've probably already answered this, the next question. But from the comic book convention that you went to, would you say there's any guests that stand out in any way?
Just
like,
the two dudes from...
It could be good or bad.
You mean people that I saw?
Yeah.
Just the two guys I saw from Rooster Teeth, called Matt and Jeff. Jeff was one of, like, the co-founders of Rooster Teeth, so it's pretty cool to meet, like, one of the dudes who actually created the company. So that was cool. That was pretty much it, really. I didn't really meet anyone else because I didn't really want to. I got a single signature, and that was from those guys.
Fair enough. So, how would you describe... Well, you've answered this again. You've answered this already, but would you say there's any standout moments from either of these conventions?
Yes, there was this amazing ride. We had to queue up for an hour in a convention centre, so, boy, you can imagine what a ride that must be.
Lovely.
it was beautiful. It was a little mini golf cart, and you drove through boxes that were painted to look like Minecraft blocks.
Oh, joy.
And that was the ride. And people were queuing for hours.
That sounds great.
That was my highlight. 250 quid well spent, in my opinion.
So, more about the comic book convention that you went to. What were you expecting it to be like? So I'm guessing it didn't live up to your expectations.
No. It was awful. Like, what the hell? It was like... It was like the flea market in Aylesbury. It was terrible. It's just a bunch of homeless people.
Less a comic convention, more an East End of London convention.
Yeah. A couple of old people, a couple of people wearing bin bags, pretending they're Spider-Man, and then...
Okay.
The only cool, like, thing was the shop. Like, it was the only thing that looked comic booky. But yeah.
So I'm guessing from that you'd probably be more interested in going to one of the bigger conventions like London or maybe
definitely.
Even San Diego.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think there was one in Birmingham that was being held soon. I think. I can't remember.
It's like even the one in Aylesbury sounds better than that. And that's a bad thing.
I bet it's the same people running it though.
God.
I guess there's a couple like big actors. There was a couple dudes from the original Star Wars. There was the guy who played Darth Vader and Boba Fett, and I overheard Boba Fett whispering into some other like celebrity's ear, saying, "Oh God, I hate these people."
Well, you're in Wickham, so.
And I could not relate more.
Yeah.
So yeah, even the actual like big names that were there didn't want to be there.
Like James Earl Jones stuck in the same building as Heather Trotter from EastEnders.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Pat Butcher.
Yeah. The Pat Butcher.
And Rodney from Only Fools and Horses.
Well, at least in like London Comic Con and in San Diego, you get to meet like comic book creators. You would have, sadly, we can't meet him now, but you would have been able to meet Stan Lee.
God, he would have died sooner if he went to the the one in High Wycombe.
Oh no, he would have gone in and then went, "Oh, I can't take this anymore.
Yeah,
there's none of my stuff here. It's a comic convention. There's only Doctor Who."
Yeah. Yeah, he probably would have nicked the Batmobile and drove it straight into a wall.
Yeah, which is ironic. The guy who created Marvel dying in a DC property. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's all the time that I have for this episode. In the next episode, we're going to have Tom Holland on the podcast where we'll discuss Spider-Man Far From Home, being the youngest member of the MCU, and living up to 2 previous Spider-Man. So,
I hope this wasn't too cringe.
Yeah, I don't know anything else that Tom Holland's been in, only Spider-Man. But, yeah, that'll be interesting to talk about.
Goodbye.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.